So the title of my talk, What Survivorship Means to Me. We'll start at the beginning. Maybe, if it'll move, maybe not. So, as you can see, I was an incredibly cute and wonderful baby. And realistically, I had a very wonderful childhood. I was never sick, I never broke any bones, even though I probably should have a couple of times. And for all intents and purposes, I was Superman. Now, a week before my 18th birthday, I went from Superman to a patient. I was diagnosed with testicular cancer, stage 1 testicular cancer, which needed surgery and basically 3 years of follow-up care. That being said, those 3 years were smooth sailing. I never had any issues and never had any complications. I never really had any active treatment. So after those 3 years, I was released, in my own words, into the public, and I was finishing my 4th year of my undergraduate degree. Oh, geez, now I really broke it. Okay. So basically, I was at the U of A here. I was playing hockey and golfing, really just loving life at this point. 6 months after being clear, I went from focusing on my degree to focusing on being a patient again. So I was diagnosed a second time with testicular cancer. This time, I went through 2 surgeries. Because testicular cancer controls a lot of hormones, I tried to decrease my first surgery, and it ended up coming back. So I'm probably the only person, well, I'm the only person I know, and probably the only person you will ever meet that's been diagnosed with testicular cancer 3 times. So incredibly rare disease, and I was lucky enough to survive it 3 times. But basically this time, because it is spread, they found it in my lymph nodes. So I went through, obviously, the blood work and the CT scans and the chest x-rays like the first time, but I also needed treatment. So this is how I kind of look at chemotherapy. This amorphous blob with these multicolored chemicals being pumped through you. And this is the difference for me between being a survivor and being a fighter. Really, in my opinion, I was just laying here surviving this disease. Now, after I was done, so I took 6 months off of school. I missed a full semester. This is me here, very different than how I look today. I was released back to society again, but my world basically moved ahead without me. So all my friends were done school, and I was left to kind of pick up my own pieces. And as you can see, looking this way is very difficult to go to university as a 4th-year student and meet new friends. Missing half your eyebrows is kind of a telltale sign that something's wrong. However, April 6, 2007, I finished my chemotherapy, and this will be my 5-year clear. So for me, cancer basically did this to my world. It shook it, rocked it, and changed the way it was. And for me, survivorship started when I was able to, So what survivorship actually means to me is when I was able to embrace this chaos. In my case, I had to search for my own resources. I went out and looked for friends, young adults, basically, that had gone through the disease that I had gone through. It took a number of years for me to find anybody. And here at the Cross, I never met a single person my own age. However, I decided to switch my degree. I just completed my master's degree, as Mike mentioned, in biochemistry, where I studied breast cancer. So I went from being a patient to working on it actively. I also, because I'm a multiple survivor, had the opportunity to speak, just like I'm speaking to you. I went to the 102nd annual meeting in Orlando, the American Association of Cancer Research. I spoke to 400 high school kids, like I'm speaking to you. I also did a podcast, which was an awesome experience for me to just share my story. And I spoke to over 20,000 cancer researchers and trying to get them on board with survivorship. So what I do now is I move past doing cancer research to speaking about it more actively. I volunteer here at the Cross Cancer Institute, where I do the new patient information sessions. I work at the Canadian Cancer Society, and I do a lot of public speaking. So for me, survivorship is really moving past this trauma that happened in my life. And obviously, programs like CancerBridges is a great way of doing that. In my case, I didn't have that available to me, so I had to find it myself. So I'll leave you with this quote, which is how I really feel about cancer. So we are continually faced with great opportunities, which are brilliantly disguised as unsolvable problems. So thank you very much.